Hi, thanks again for tuning in to Sin's Workshop. I hope everyone's having a glorious, wonderful day, and I hope everyone is remembering to stay inside as much as possible. Anyway, today we're going to be talking about Bruja Born by Zoraida Córdova, published June 5th, 2018 by Sourcebooks Fire. It is the second novel in the Brooklyn Bruja series. And instead of following Alex this time, it follows her sister, Lula, as she deals with her PTSD of being trapped in Los Lagos by an evil witch that was going to kill her. I think what I loved best about this was there was such a minute detail in Labyrinth Lost about a zombie apocalypse coming. And Cordova, she took that concept and she turned it into the premise for this novel here. And I thought that was really great. She took an idea and she just ran with it. And I love the idea that she was able to turn zombies into her own thing. It's not some cliche zombie novel, some cliche horror novel with zombies, follows the same premise as everything else. She ties it to the magic as, this is something that went wrong because she's still suffering from her PTSD. And, that has put a strain on her relationship with her boyfriend. Her boyfriend, he loves her and he says he doesn't know how to help her. And you can't really blame him because she really closes off part of herself towards him. I mean, he'll never ever fully be able to understand her, considering he doesn't even know she's a bruja. And I thought that's really important to touch upon. Like, you can't really be with someone unless you let them know all of you, and all the shit that you're dealing with. And Luna, on some level, she can't let him know, but she doesn't really take the risk, like in Sabrina the Teenage Witch. She takes the risk and she tells him, and then she just, vanishes his memory. Yeah, not vanishes. She makes him forget. But in this novel, I think I'm kind of glad that Cordova didn't do that, because then that would have just been some cliche copycat move. But her magic in the novels, they tend to be more realistic, more grounded. Definitely more grounded. For magic, I've been watching Once Upon a Time lately with my husband and my son, and they always say the same magic comes with a price. Cordova really highlights that aspect. Magic comes with a price. If you heal someone, you're taking away their pain, but you're inflicting yourself with pain. Cause and effect. It's also sort of science-based. Like, you can neither, matter can neither be created nor destroyed, but it can be moved. You heal someone to a point, you're taking their pain on yourself. You're creating a storm out of nothing. Well, something else is going to happen. There's a cause and there's an effect in Cordova's magic, which I really appreciated. I don't think I saw that as much in the previous novel with Labyrinth Lost. I know I didn't talk about it, but in this novel, you really get to see the repercussions of them using magic. Lula tries to save her boyfriend with magic, and she pulls her sisters into it as well. But I don't think she understands the full repercussions. She stumbled upon this canto, and it's a blood canto, and blood magic in any sort of lore, any sort of mythology, blood magic is always considered very dangerous while also being very powerful. But you're crossing a line when you're using, blood as life force. And Cordova really highlights that with Lula. I mean, Lula is so desperate. She's so closed off. She's still suffering her PTSD, and as much as the first novel was a journey of self-discovery for Alex, this novel is a self-discovery for Lula. She's always been, not, I guess, the obedient daughter. Like, I guess Rose, their youngest, she would be the obedient daughter. But Lula's always been about, respecting the cantos, respecting the altar, but she sort of lost herself when she was in Los Lagos. You didn't really hear it from Alex's perspective. She was still like the sister, know-it-all sister in Labyrinth Lost, but here you really get to see it. She's lost herself, and it's a journey. She's so unsure of her scars. She is so unsure of her day-to-day life. So she enacts a spell to save her boyfriend, but unwittingly it puts her in the crosshairs of La Muerta, the goddess of death, really, the collector of souls, and she's trapped the goddess of death in our realm. So what happens to all these people who were supposed to die? They're kind of caught in between. They're not dead, but they're not alive either, and their only sustenance is to eat hearts, basically. There's your zombie aspect, but the way Córdova really brought to life the Casi Muertos, she gives them a unique name. She gives them a sort of magical, unique backstory that really makes it unique for this novel and really makes it incredibly compelling. This is one of those books that you just can't put down because you're like, oh my god, what's going to happen next? Like, Lula, how could you do something like that? It's a really good tension-driven novel, and I really enjoyed that about this novel, how she was able to take something, in the media, in the mainstream, and really make it her own and really make it fresh and unique for her purposes of telling the story. And as well as with the magic, I thought the magic, how she structures the magic, the cantos, I thought that was it's thoughtful. It's very thoughtful writing. It's constructed very well, and it's very realistic at the same time. And I can't say that enough. It was so well done how she structures the magic in the novel, how she's able to keep the story grounded in realism at the same time, while also giving a thought-provoking, journey for Lula, because Lula has to rediscover herself. She has to rediscover her belief in the Deo. She has to rediscover her belief in the magic and the world. And it's a struggle. Anyone who suffer from PTSD, it's always a struggle to just kind of go about your day-to-day, your day-to-day, aspects. I'm at a loss for words, unfortunately. I'm sorry. But to just go about yourself day-to-day, it's a struggle for anyone with PTSD. I can't speak from experience, so I'm only surmising, but I'm sure anyone suffering from PTSD, it's a struggle to get out of bed. You get flashbacks of something horrible, and you're just sort of lost yourself because you're not the same person you were after this event. And Lula is not the same person. You can see it in her tone. Her tone is very different from how Alex presented her in the first novel. Granted, you're in the first novel, you're seeing Lula through a sisterly perspective. And I thought that was really, I thought it was really cool. I thought it was very interesting, and I really enjoyed it to see her rediscover her belief, rediscover her faith, not just in her ancestry and in her magic, but in herself. She failed, but she's willing to do what she needs to do to set things right and open up again. She's ready to let go of all that anger and resentment that she's held for her sister. She's able to sort of move on with her life very slowly and surely. Everything she goes through in this novel, it goes from being just like, oh no, to sort of horrific, because she did turn her boyfriend into a zombie, basically. And that's definitely not what she wanted to do to him, because she loved him so. But turning into a monster, really turns him into a monster. And Lula has to face the repercussions of her magic. She has to face the decisions she made through her grief and through her anger at the world. So it was really a really good novel, Bruja Born. I really did appreciate it. I really did like it. And I thought it was a really good horror story. It was a nice blend of horror and fantasy and realism. So if you're looking for something that has a nice blend of horror and fantasy and realism, I mean, this is definitely a book. It's definitely different from the first book, which was more like Alice in Wonderland. Sorry, my son just woke up from his nap. But I really did like Bruja Born. I have to say I gave it 4 stars. Just because, it wasn't a 5-star novel. It didn't blow me away. Like, I reserve my 5 stars for novels that completely blow my mind. But Bruja Born, it was a very good novel. Definitely give it 4 stars. Definitely a great follow-up to Labyrinth Lost. I think on some level, I probably like this novel a little bit more than Labyrinth Lost, just because it had more action in it. It was definitely a more action-packed story. So I'll say that for this, but I really did like it. Bruja Born by Zoraida Córdova. Please check it out. Please remember to support your local bookstores in this pandemic. If you can't get to a bookstore, digital library. If you have a library card, go ahead. If you can sign up for a digital library card from your home, I say do it. Get this book as an ebook or an audiobook. If you have a Scribd membership, this book is available as an audiobook there. Not sure about the ebook, but I did listen to it as an audiobook on Scribd, the Scribd app. So definitely, check this book out. Please support your local bookstore. I know everyone wants to go straight to Amazon, but please support your local bookseller, whether it be, IndieBound, Better World Books, or Barnes & Noble. Please remember to support them. And remember to stay healthy, stay safe, and please stay indoors. Have a great day, guys, and thank you again for joining me.